Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to the weekly JimFear podcast. It's been a wild week, man. It has been a wild week. We had fucking Super Tuesday going on. Work has just been fucking crazy, but it's always crazy. It did slow down a little bit, which I guess that's a little bit better than it has been. And I ain't fucking sick no more, which is something that I personally am very happy about, because now I'm able to bring you guys quality narrations again, like that one I put out this week, H.P. Lovecraft's Dagon, that is on the YouTube channel right now. You can go and check that out. I mean, don't go and do it right now, finish the podcast, but after you get done over here, if you just can't get enough of the sound of my voice and you want to hear me actually voice act, go check that out. You'll get to see what I sound like terrified. I mean, for that one, you have to play a fucking... What was it? The morphine. Yeah, morphine addict. That's fun. Yeah, just you gotta play a strung out junkie. Like, I've never done that before. I'm kidding, I've never done anything heavy. I used to smoke pot years ago. Long fucking time. I haven't done that in like 5-6 years. Something like that. It's a stupid, ridiculous amount of time. But, yeah, I never did anything beyond pot. You know what I mean? It just never seems smart, especially with all of the stories out there about all of these people who, like, you see pictures of meth heads and people who did cocaine and, like, their fucking nose rotted off. I would hear friends who had actually done this stuff. They'd be like, oh yeah, like, the first time, like, one of my buddies, that was a good buddy from high school. I don't talk to him anymore. He kind of went fucking crazy and then, like, went up northwest, and we never fucking saw him again. But yeah, he told me about how it was doing coke. But the thing that always stuck with me was the first time he tried coke. He did it at a party, and he got really drunk while he was on it, and then he went to bed. And he woke up the next morning, and his first thought was, oh, it's morning. I wish I had some coke. And he stopped, and he examined himself for a moment, as one does when you have a thought like that. And he came to a crossroads in his life. And this crossroads was, do I go get more coke? Or do I stamp that shit out right now? And he stamped that shit out. After that, he only did coke occasionally, on special occasions. Like once a year, or something like that. Him and another friend of mine would go get, like, I don't know, like a gram or something, like just a tiny amount, and they would do a little bit of coke, like at a celebration or something. I never did it. I never knew where they got it from. I just let them take care of that. I didn't want to be fucking involved. That wasn't my thing. Back then, I just liked to smoke my pot and drink my booze, and that was it. No, I mean, there's cigarettes too. But anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? We hadn't even done the introductions yet. Like, I gotta do shilling. Yeah, so there's the new narration that's up. Don't forget, a new audiobook will be coming out Monday, and honestly, I'm getting to the point where I just want to record as much of that as possible and go ahead and put the album up on Bandcamp so you guys can get the whole thing before it's uploaded to YouTube. So if you prefer a more serialized approach to the audiobook, you can get it every Monday on YouTube for free, or if you want, you can get the rest of the book early by paying $5 on Bandcamp. I think that would probably be cheaper than just buying the chapters that haven't gone up on YouTube. But anyway, yeah, I'm concentrating on putting the rest of my... Get out of that bag, cat! Sorry about that, guys. I had a plastic bag. Well, I had a paper bag inside a plastic bag lying on the bed, and the cat just went fucking nuts. She's a cutie. But, yeah, next week's narration. I have a fucking list. I have a list I know I had a list, because I made a list. I'm so fucking professional. Did I put it on the stories to narrate? This is the night lore stuff. Well, it's basically everything up to a certain point on my channel, so I can just open up the YouTubes here and get a list of my views. Got a couple of more subscribers today. Since I started uploading regularly, that's encouraging. That's heartening. It's at an all-time high. Let me see here. What the moon brings. Here we go. This is Clown Shoe. Okay, so I'm gonna do one of the narrations that I did a long time ago, but I never did anything, or I had shitty audio back then. What the fuck am I thinking? I'm sorry. I got off of work today. Like, last night, it's been fucking crazy. I don't know what's been going on, but my circadian rhythm is on a cycle that it has never been on before in my entire fucking life. I'm actually active during the day and tired at night. It's fucking ridiculous. Usually it's the complete opposite. I don't know if this job is fucking with my rhythm. That's probably it. But, yeah, last night I just got so damn tired around like 9:30. I just started yawning like a bastard. Just getting so sleepy. And I hit the dirt at like 9:45. Like, I got up, I fed my brother's cat, and I checked on everything in the house. I sent my brother a text message to let him know he had to go to the store and pick up something. And I went to bed and just, boom, I was out like a fucking light. Like someone had flipped the switch on my consciousness. I don't even remember my head hitting the pillow. But today I got kind of that. Yesterday it was really slow. I was kind of tired all day, so I was just taking it slow. And then today it was like I had caught that second wind, man. Like I burned through all of my work. I got through all of my shit that was left over from yesterday. I got through all of the shit that came up today. We took care of the whole fucking thing. Our area was absolutely clean. Well, not absolutely clean. There's still shit on the floor, but it's a warehouse. What do you want? It's never going to be perfectly fucking clean. But we burned through all that shit, and we got our area fucking clean, and I feel absolutely great about it, man. And I'm going healthy, guys. I'm going healthy. I'm stopping eating chips with my sandwich for lunch. Because that's how I've been doing it. I would bring like a little sandwich bag full of chips, and I would bring a sandwich bag full of sandwich, and I would eat a sandwich and some chips for lunch every day. But I'm not going to do that no more. I'm going to bring a sandwich and carrot sticks, and try to, like, I don't know, maybe it can heal my eyes. You guys know I wear glasses. Maybe my eyesight will get better. I'll be like Clive Owen in... What was the Shoot 'em Up. Shoot 'em Up. That was the most fucking retarded movie, man. But I loved every fucking second of it. It was beautiful. Cinematic masterpiece. If you've never seen Shoot 'em Up, go watch Shoot 'em Up. Shoot 'em Up is awesome. But yeah, so I'm probably going to be re-recording one of my older narrations. Probably what was the fucking thing? The My Little Pony theory. If I can find it. I went looking for that one again one time a couple of years ago, or a year or so ago, because I was thinking about re-recording it anyway, like even back then. And I could not find the fucking thing. Eventually I tracked it down, but it was just like, it had almost fucking disappeared from the internet. It was nuts. Like, that's the problem with some of these old stories, like the Gristers. And I'm glad I got to that one when I had a good microphone. Because I actually had... This is how fucking nuts that was. I could not find that on any of the creepypasta websites. I had to actually go to an image board website. And someone had screen capped the Grister's story. And put up the fucking screen cap of the story. And I had to download the screen cap and narrate it from that. It was not... Some of these old stories you just cannot find anymore. And I'm glad that I have the Gristers up on my channel, and other people do as well, because that is a great story. And it would be a damn shame for that to just get lost to the vagaries of just how the internet works. You know, like a really good porn video that just disappears because new shit keeps coming in every day. But, I can't make puns. I find them hilarious, but I'm nowhere near as good at it as Delph is. There was actually a friend of mine, and this might come up soon. You might see a promo video for this soon, depending on how she wants to go about it. But a friend of mine, I've known her for years. She came up to me, and she was like, "Hey, I've been doing this series of my thoughts on, and I did one, and I want to do one on feminism, so I wanted to talk to you about it first." And I was just like, "Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure that you want me to help you with this?" Because I mean, if you guys follow my Tumblr, if you watched my old videos, which are gone now, they're private. Most of my old videos are private now, except for a couple that I'm particularly proud of, which is basically just the Canterlot Gate, the one that I responded to ANY on. I like wearing that tinfoil hat was fun. And let's see, what was the other one? It was that the Anatomy of a Clown Shoe. So yeah, those ones you can actually see my face in those. Back when I was thin. But yeah, if you watch the Anatomy of a Clown Shoe thing, you'll get exactly why I'm kind of hesitant about getting into this project with her. Because it was funny as shit. She came to me on Skype, and she was like, you know, "I want you to help me out with this video. I want to do a collaboration with you." And I was like, "Okay, are you sure?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, because I have these ideas about feminism and how it went from a movement about, you know, equality and you know, helping women out to just like a complete mind fuck of a movement." And I was like, "Well, you know, since you asked, I can't really sign off on that because I know that's not right." And it was bad, man. It was fucking terrible. Because it eventually devolved. It just straight devolved into me giving her a fucking history lesson about feminism from like the suffragettes up till now. And I went through like Warren Farrell, I went through Aaron Pizzey, I went through people like Andrea Dworkin and Valerie Solanas. I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. I cleaned off my fucking bookshelves. So there's just these big pieces of plywood. Now my cat can drag her toys up there, and she can play with them while I'm trying the podcast. But yeah, I just gave her this whole like detailed hit. We must have talked for like 2 hours, where I just would write these huge fucking paragraphs over Skype, and break down the history of feminism and what they've been doing lately. And like, she didn't know about the whole manspreading thing, which is actually a law in New York City. You can get arrested and fined for manspreading on public transportation. Would you mind not doing that? Please? That's a no. Sorry, guys. She's going to continue to be a little shit. But yeah, that's why I was kind of hesitant about getting into the project with her, because this isn't to insult her intelligence. She's a very intelligent person, and I love talking to her. She's very smart. But I know that I know more about this subject than she does. Like, a lot more. Because I've been doing this since, like 3 years ago? It was 2013, so it's about 3 years now. When I first got into the Brony fandom, I also started watching a lot of different people on YouTube. And part of these people were like atheists, because I was an atheist, and I thought, oh yeah, hey, these guys are entertaining, and they drop a lot of knowledge, and I can learn things from watching these guys. And some of them started to criticize feminism, and then down the rabbit hole I fucking went. And I completely went native. I adopted the whole MGTOW philosophy, which is men going their own way. Which before you turn off, it's not like a misogynist thing. There are some guys who use it to excuse their own misogyny. Those guys do exist. I'm not going to deny them. I was subscribed to a couple of them before I realized what the fuck was going on. But it's just basically about, like, the easiest way to describe it is it's a philosophy of male health, wealth, and happiness. Very selfish philosophy, but it's not inherently misogynistic or even harmful to anybody. But yeah, I completely went native with that shit, and I've been like off and on, like pretty much every week I would do a little bit more research, or I would hear somebody talk about a thing on a video, and then I would go do some reading up on it, and I know a lot about feminism and feminist theory and like gender relations and how these gender relations formed over thousands of years and things like that, and I really do not want to get into arguments with people about this unless it's on something like Tumblr, where it's my fucking blog, I'll say whatever the fuck I want. But if I'm talking with friends, I really try not to beat them over the head with all of this stuff, because I know they haven't delved into it as much as I have, because they don't care about it as much, and that's fine. I don't want to impose my view on them. I don't want to be, what do you call it, an ideological imperialist, to borrow a term from, what would you call them, the left, or the social justice warriors. So I don't want to do that kind of shit to people. Because you start talking about this, and you start speaking from a place of authority, and you don't have any paper to back up that authority. Like, I ain't got no paper in gender studies or anything like that. I ain't got no masters. I ain't even got a BA. So when I start speaking from this place of authority, like, I know what I'm talking about, because I do know what I'm talking about. I've done the fucking research. But, people get turned off, and they think that you're preaching to them, and they think that you think they're stupid or something like that, when I'm not. I'm just trying to explain what's going on, but I started to realize that that was happening, and I just shut up about it whenever I'm with my friends. I just don't, like, I'm not here to push any kind of agenda. If you want to come to me and ask me questions, I will answer them. But I'm not going to really broach the subject unless somebody else brings it up. Then I'll talk a blue streak. But I'm not really gonna try and impose my view on anybody, you know what I mean? So when she came to me, I was like, are you sure you want to fucking do this? Not in, like, a warning way, or I'm about to beat you over the head, or, you know, beware where you step, young one. I have gone where you now stand. No, none of that shit. Just like, are you sure you want to get down this rabbit hole with me? Because I know a lot, and it takes a lot of time to explain all of this stuff. And she was like, yeah, and we got into it, and I was like, but, you know, don't take my word for any of this stuff. Go and do research. Go and look this up for yourself. Which all of the stuff that I said is out there. It's not all that difficult to find. So I assume, at this point, she's off doing her research and will come back to me with whether or not she wants to do this video, because I don't know if she wants to do it scripted, or if she wants to do it in a podcast format where we just sit down and just hash it out and talk, or what. So I guess I'll let you guys know when that happens, if that happens. It's kind of up to her. It's her project. I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines and being like, okay, when do you want my input? Because I can input, but I don't want to take over the video. You know, if I wanted to make a video about feminism, then I would make my own fucking video. But I don't want to take over your project. I don't want to monopolize the time in the video, just because I have more of a knowledge base to draw from than you do. And like I said, that's not a slight against her. She hasn't studied this as much as I have. And it's not like formal study, it's just this is something that I'm interested in. So I did a lot of reading and a lot of listening to people who have gone before. That's it. God, I got off on a fucking tangent. I was supposed to shill, and now I'm like 20 fucking minutes into this. And I've just been talking shit. Yeah, so, the Holders series, those got some positive responses. You know, I'm still getting back up to where I was, a long time ago, and that's fine. I knew that coming back after an extended hiatus like that, I was gonna have a serious drop-off in my audience. That's fine, I don't mind. I'm just happy people are watching and enjoying the videos. That's all that really matters to me. I would like more people to watch them. I would like to be able to make money off of this, but if not, I'm still going to keep doing it because it's a passion of mine. And if people tune in, that's fucking awesome, and I appreciate each and every one of you who does that. But the holders got some positive responses in the comments. People seem to like that. So, what I have done is I have taken all of the holders' stories that I recorded for the Seekers for a Cure charity event that just completely bombed due to, like, gross mismanagement and all kinds of other shit. But that went down the toilet. It's gone. So I just had all of these laying around, and I figured I'd use them while I'm sick, so you guys don't have to put up with my congested ass trying to voice act. But I took all 15 of those narrations, and I put them up on Bandcamp. So if you guys want to hear the rest of those before I upload them, because honestly, I don't know if I'm going to upload them again for another year. I don't know if any of those stories are going to come out for another year until I get sick again, or if I decide I want to go on vacation for a week, which I doubt, because it's not like this is something I'm really going to get burnt out on. I'm not planning on getting burnt out anyway. I got a schedule. I'm keeping to it. God damn it. The determination has filled me, you know. But if you want to hear the rest of those, that's where they are. You can go there. You can buy individual tracks for $1, or you can get all 15 tracks for just $5. I think that's a pretty good deal, and I'm keeping to my little business model there, where, you know, it's $1 for an individual story, and it's $5 for an album. So, you know, and even if the individual story is like a fucking half hour long, and I put 6 hours worth of effort into creating that video or that audio file, then it's still going to go up for $1. So that's a very hard line that I'm taking there. But, yeah, that's where the holders are. So if you guys want to hear those, you can go over to Bandcamp, and they will be right there for you, along with the Halloween Countdown 2014, which is, I want to say, 10 tracks, 10 stories for $5 or $1 each. And there's also The Egg by Andy Weir. I have a bunch of others that I need to upload. Hang on, I actually have, I actually have a whole shitload that I meant to upload. And they will be going up pretty soon here. So the old stories will be going up there. I'll probably put them together in a bundle so you can get like 10 stories for $5 or something like that. Put them up in albums rather than, let's see, what the fuck else. Also, SoundCloud. SoundCloud is really dicking me with the upload restriction, the upload time restriction, and everything like that. They are really dicking me. I can only have 3 hours a fucking month until I pay them like $7 a month. And that doesn't seem like a lot. But when you're broke and you're making just barely above minimum wage, that's a lot of money every month. That's like lunch for 2 weeks for me. Like that $7 is like lunch for 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that. If I actually start pulling in some cash from the Bandcamp, maybe one of these days I'll open up a Patreon or something, and then the Patreon money could go to keeping that open. Or maybe I should just do it as a one-time thing and then upload all of the audio at once and then leave it the fuck alone. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. But the podcasts, I will be uploading those onto SoundCloud as I am able. I don't know if it bleeds over. If I upload like 10 minutes more, like 3 hours and 10 minutes, if that means I only have like 2 hours and 50 minutes the next month. I'm not really sure how that works out. Or if it's just a flat 3 hours every month. I don't know. We're going to have to see. I'm still working a lot of this shit out. I'm also planning on writing a few pieces for my blog. I'm also thinking about getting back into the response video game, because I've been listening to Honey Badger Radio, and I watch a lot of people like Dr. Randomer Cam and Vernaculus, and Spinosaurus Kin, who are all great channels that you should go follow right now. But they do some responses to some people that I really would like to sink my teeth into. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking of doing that, like, I don't know, once a month or whenever I feel like it. Just do a response video to somebody. Probably go up on Friday. Not this Friday. I'm just, like, letting you know. If I do that, I'll probably upload those on Fridays. But we'll have to see. Because those honestly do take a lot of time. Like, and I'm not just sitting here doing just this. I'm trying to keep up on a schedule and everything like that, but this isn't all I do. Like, I'm gone from my house for about 10, 11 hours a day. And then I come home, and if I have to record something, I record it. If I have to edit, I edit, and then I just fucking go to bed. Basically. That's kind of how my day goes. And then I wake up and do it again. I wake up and do it again. And again, and again, and again. And that's a perfectly fine schedule for me. I'm not really worried about getting burnt out. Everything's cool with that. So, there was some other shit that I wanted to talk about since we're only like a half hour in. So the Republican Party is fucking imploding right now. Or rather, they're exploding, because they've got a bunch of little bitty pieces coming off everywhere. And you know what? The older that I get, the more that I find the truth in that maxim that goes something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing it best here, but it's something along the lines of, if you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart, and if you're not a conservative when you're old, you have no brain. It's something along those lines. I might be messing the wording up, but that was the general gist of the thing. Because I went from a hardcore left-wing feminist communist. Yes, I was a communist back in the day, and I'm so fucking ashamed. So fucking ashamed of that. But I was. I'm not gonna sit here and deny it. I was that dumb too. Once upon a time. But now I'm like pretty. If I had to put myself on a scale, I'm pretty conservative libertarian now, and it's weird. It's really weird looking back on the shit that I used to believe in and hold very dear to my heart, and look at what I think about things now. And it's just like the fucking. I would get into a fight. Like, if I could meet me from high school, I'd kick my ass. And the thing is that I don't know who would win. But probably young me, because I didn't have all these fucking back problems, and I wasn't constantly tired back then. But yeah, it's weird how your political ideology or political viewpoints will evolve the older that you get and the more perspective that you have on things. I think it's taxes, mostly. Like, I started realizing that, oh shit, I have to pay taxes. Well, what the fuck is the government actually doing with my money? Holy shit! My tax money is paying for some woman I don't even know to have an abortion? Why? What the fuck do I care if she kills her kid? Or if she has that abortion? Because I am pro-choice. I just think that the woman should pay for her own mistake. That's what I think. And if a guy's involved, if he didn't just run off, or she didn't chase him off, he should be involved too. He should help her cover the cost. But the taxpayer should not have to pay that, especially since there are some people out there with very strong feelings about abortion, and it goes against their religious doctrine, and they shouldn't be forced to pay for it if somebody wants to do that. That's not something that taxes should be going to support. But, you know, anyway, the choice thing aside, the abortion debate aside, I started really thinking about, like, what the fuck is going on with my tax dollars? Where is that all going? You know, how big is the government? What kind of restrictions do they actually make on my life? And like, I started digging, and I started listening to some people who 10 years ago I would have just utterly hated these people. I still kind of don't like them. But now they're making sense. And that's scary to me, especially in one instance. Because my dad is a big Glenn Beck fan. He really likes Glenn Beck. He listens to his talk radio show. And I gave it a try. You know what I mean? Just a try. Because I know Glenn's record. I know Glenn's history. I understand exactly how crazy the words that are coming out of my fucking mouth right now sound to people who've never actually sat down and listened to Glenn Beck talk for like 2 hours. They just hear like him say something fucking crazy on Fox News back when he was on Fox News. And they're like, oh, well, time to write his ass off. And I think that's kind of a shame that we do that. Not just with Glenn Beck. Not just with Glenn Beck. Because the guy is fucking crazy. But with people in general. Like, you know, you can't ever be wrong. You can't ever be wrong without having to apologize nowadays. And that's something that really fucks with me. You know what I mean? Because we're all wrong about something. I was wrong about circumcision until not all that long ago. A couple of years max. I was very wrong about circumcision. And, you know, I was wrong about feminism for the longest fucking time. So when someone is wrong, that doesn't mean that they don't have other areas that they're actually intelligent or wise in. You know what I mean? That doesn't, just because somebody's wrong on one thing doesn't mean that they're wrong everywhere else. And I think it's a shame that we kind of write people off in this way. Because I've been listening to Ben Shapiro, who I really like. I really like this guy's podcast. The thing that really got me into Ben Shapiro, when he was at Cal State, I want to say. Hang on, let me look up the Ben Shapiro protest here on YouTube. This is the one. The Blaze Now. It was a campus lecture. Protest at Cal State. Yeah. Yeah, it was Cal State. And he was there about a week and a half ago. And apparently, like, the authorities, the police, like, not campus police, like, the actual law, had to smuggle him into the lecture hall through the back. Because the people out front who were protesting him were becoming very rabid and were probably going to hurt him if they saw him. And I watched his speech, and I listened to it. He put it up on his podcast. I subscribed to his podcast after I saw the speech. Or I saw, like, the first, 5 minutes of the speech, the first 5 or 10 minutes. Or it, like, cut in partway through the speech, and then it cut out partway another part through it. So it's only like a good 5 minutes of the speech on YouTube that I saw. But I went and listened to the whole thing, and it just blew my fucking mind. Like, the guy, like, I agreed with everything this dude said. And I'm like, this guy's a Republican? This guy's a conservative, Orthodox Jew who's a very religious man. And he wasn't, like, a converted Jew. He was a Jew. He was born into this religion. And he stayed with it his entire life. You know, this conservative Jewish Republican guy is talking a lot of fucking sense. And then I go and listen to Adam Levine, who's also got a good podcast that I would recommend. He's also got really good taste, like shockingly good taste in music. He's got another podcast, and I started listening to him because my dad was like, you need to read this book by this guy. And I was like, well, you know, okay, fine, I'm interested in the Constitution. This is a book about the Constitution. Fine. You know what? I'll shell out the $6 on Kindle and pick it up, and I'll give it a read. And I started reading it, and it's rough going. It's not an easy book to digest. You really have to kind of take it slow and really think about what you can't be doing something else while you're reading this book. You have to be reading this book because it's that dense. And I started enjoying it, and I was shopping around for more podcasts to listen to, and I saw that this guy had one, so I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll listen to this. And he's making a lot of sense. And then I was like, all right, you know what? Fine, fuck it. I know that Glenn Beck is, like, majorly Christian. Like, retardedly Christian. But maybe I should just give him a listen just to see what my dad sees in this guy. You know, what does he see in this guy that makes him like his material so much? So I started listening to Glenn Beck and like, okay, he's talking about the Christian thing. Oh, he's got a preacher on later. What a fucking surprise. But in between all of that, he was making a lot of sense. And the thing that strikes me as funny is he puts himself and Adam Levine and Ben Shapiro and a couple of other people as against the conservative establishment, or the Republican establishment, who are currently basically backing Trump and trying to tear down Ted Cruz. And they've been called every fucking name in the book, including Dirty Jew, I believe. And that was just, like, a lot of people don't know this, but Glenn Beck has a really nice voice. Like, not even like, trying to talk about the guy's politics right now. His voice, I want this guy to read, like, all the audiobooks. He's got an amazing voice. I would kill for Glenn Beck's voice. I would be doing so many more audiobooks. That's, like, guaranteed work right there with a voice like that. Like, serious voice for radio, man. I was impressed. I did not know that Glenn Beck sounded like that. But, in between all of the hyper-Christian shit and stuff like that, I was like, oh, well, this guy's actually, he doesn't sound as crazy. And he even brought up the fact that, like, back when he was on Fox and shit like that, he was a major alcoholic. And he was losing his fucking mind back then. And, sorry, I gotta check Skype, because, Dapper is recording an episode tonight. And I have to be there, because I'm not sick no more. And that part of my job is come back. Sorry, I just got a little wine on the way home today. But, he's very calm. He's very measured. He's not talking crazy. He's actually making sense, apart from all of the crazy Christian shit. Everything but that, I completely agreed with him. And this scared the fuck out of me. You have no idea how fucking terrifying it is to grow up considering yourself a liberal for 27 fucking years. Okay? Or, well, not quite. I grew up conservative, and then I did the whole rebellion against my parents thing, and I went, like, uber left liberal for, like, 10, 15 years there. It was scary. And then, like, that was what I had internalized for the longest fucking time. That was what I had chosen for myself. I had internalized it. It was a part of who I was. And now, I'm branching out, and I'm listening to different perspectives on these issues. And I'm not necessarily agreeing with everything that they say. But you have no fucking idea how terrifying it is to listen to Glenn Beck's podcast while you're just stacking boxes and be thinking to yourself, holy shit, I agree with Glenn Beck. No horror movie in the history of horror movies that I have ever seen has terrified me that fucking much. It was like, oh my god, at the implications of this. But yeah, I found myself agreeing with Glenn Beck a lot. And I find myself agreeing with Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin and all of these conservative guys, mostly because they come out and they're very classically liberal. Like, there's a couple of points where, you know, I don't like gay marriage. Like, Glenn Beck is kind of anti-gay marriage. He doesn't bring it up a lot in the stuff that I've listened to, but he's anti-gay marriage. He's got a couple of other positions that I disagree with, because they're just like you think about the Republican positions on things, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's why I don't like this party. But I don't have a choice at this point, and I feel so betrayed. Like, I'm so fucking angry at the Democrat Party that they let their goddamn... Because I'm not part of any of these parties, right? I'm not a Green Party, I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I'm not nothing. I'm an issues kind of guy. Now that I've started getting back into the political scene, I'm strictly issues. If I agree with you on the issues, then I'll vote for you. If I don't agree with you on the issues, I'm not going to vote for you. Simple as fucking that. That's why I haven't made it like public on Twitter or whatever, but I'm one of those never Trump people. If Trump gets the Republican nomination, I will not vote for him. I will not vote for Hillary Clinton. I will not vote for Bernie Sanders. I just won't vote, or I'll go and I'll write in Homer Simpson or Peter Griffin or something like that. Just write in a candidate. Because I do not want those three to be president. Like, those are fucking terrifying. So the one that I'm supporting is Ted Cruz. I disagree with him on his evangelical Christianity. I don't like that about him. I don't really like his stance on gay marriage. His Planned Parenthood thing is okay. I think his plan to get rid of the IRS is fucking crazy. I don't think that's feasible, but I'm willing to put up with that. Mostly, and the thing that makes me willing to overlook all of this shit that I don't like about him is the fact that he's not Donald Trump. And he's not Marco Rubio. And not only that, but you only see people like Donald Trump and Rubio on Fox. They don't do other shows, to my knowledge. You know, Ted Cruz, I've been listening to Adam Levine and Glenn Beck. He actually, personally, himself, called in and sat on hold and waited to talk to these guys so that he could talk to their audience. And that kind of engendered a little bit of respect for Ted Cruz in me. That he was willing to do that. You know, the kind of guy who will go outside the mainstream media to these alternative media on the internet people and say, hey, no, I want to talk to you. Can I come on your show? I want to talk to you. I want to talk to your audience. I want to let you guys know where I stand. And that gave me a little bit of respect for him. Also, the fact that he is a constitutionalist. The Constitution is very fucking important to me, and I know for a fact that people like Trump, Sanders, and Clinton have no respect for the Constitution whatsoever. I mean, we know that Barack Obama has been a disaster as a president. Just a complete fucking disaster. The worst offense being all of the executive orders he signed. It is not the president's job to make law. The president has the ability to veto law. Executive orders are not supposed to be a fucking thing. They are an overreach of government power. And if you think for half a fucking second that someone like Sanders, Clinton, or Trump won't absolutely abuse that power just as bad, if not worse, than Obama did, then you're fucking delusional. And the thing that kills me about the Republicans, though, is that the Democrat Party is fucking dead to me at this point. I don't have any sympathy or support for them whatsoever in any fucking way. I will probably never vote Democrat again. They killed it. They killed it with this presidential cycle right here. These backward ass fuck socialist and corporate shill candidates that they have up right now. If this is where the Democrat Party is, I don't want to have anything to fucking do with it. And one thing that really pisses me off about the Democrats, and this is just something that they engendered this election cycle, because I know the Republicans have a history of being racist, right? I understand that. That is not exactly unearned. However, when you look at the current election cycle, and you have a white woman, 3 other white guys, and a very old rich white Jew, or old rich Jew, Jewish man. Yeah. Jew. And I don't mean that in derogatory terms. I'm just laying out the racial makeup of the candidates here. So you have one person on the Democratic bill who isn't white. One person, right? And then you look over at the Republican side, you have Donald Trump, who's a white guy, yes. You have Kasich, who, to my knowledge, is white. The other guy dropped out, so he's fucking irrelevant at this point. You have Ben Carson, who's a black man, and you have Rubio and Cruz, who are both Hispanic. So, this whole narrative that Republicans are racist is not really true. And if you look, from what I hear about the polls, if you look at closed primaries where only Republicans are allowed to vote in the Republican primaries, Cruz stacks up really fucking well against Trump. So there's a lot of independents and a lot of Democrats that are just voting Trump in open or dual primaries. So this whole Republicans are racist thing doesn't really fucking work at all. It doesn't wash anymore. But in my opinion, what needs to fucking happen, and yes, the unlettered, unlearned, new to conservatism, if you can even call me that, I wouldn't call me that, but non-Republican is going to lecture the Republicans on what their party needs to fucking do, because God help us all if Donald Trump gets in office. Carson and Kasich need to drop the fuck out. Period. They get like 5% of the Republican support each. They are taking votes away from the people who could actually beat Donald Trump. The people who stand a fucking chance. So, Kasich and Dr. Ambien gotta go. They gotta put their fucking ego aside and stop breaking up the vote in the Republican primaries. Put their support behind Ted Cruz. And the reason that I say Ted Cruz is because not only is he, on Super Tuesday, did he win more states than Rubio, he won like 2 or 3, Rubio won 1. Stefan Molyneux of Free Domain Radio has released a video called The Truth About Marco Rubio. And if you go and watch this video, or listen to this episode of his podcast, he gets into excruciating detail on Rubio's past. And it is not fucking pretty. He's a flip-flopper. He's horrible with money. His finances are in the goddamn toilet. They're just absolutely all over the fucking place. He got $100,000 advance on his I want to say his autobiography. It was a book that he wrote. He got $100,000 advance on it. It was fucking gone the next year. Right? That sounds exactly like the kind of guy you want to put into any kind of office, right? Someone who mismanages money that fucking bad. So, Cruz needs to start getting some support from the rest of the Republicans. They need to just put their fucking egos aside and stop trying to fracture the party up and consolidate it behind someone who actually has a chance of beating Donald Trump. Because there's a lot of disenfranchised people out there. There's a lot of trolls. There's a lot of just angry people who are rebelling against PC culture by voting Trump. Or, like this one guy, like, I don't think this dude has done any research, but I met this guy at work, and he was wearing a Make America Great Again shirt or a Donald Trump shirt. And he said, we need a businessman to fix America. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, yeah, that worked out great with Herbert Hoover, didn't it? Didn't it? Like, yeah, I just remember all of those people who were living in shanty towns who were saying to themselves, yeah, man, glad we put a businessman instead of a politician in office. And I'm not really for career politicians, but Jesus fucking Christ. Like, Trump has, like, how many fucking companies has he driven to bankruptcy? That he started and then drove to bankruptcy? It's fucking... Trump is not a good businessman. He's not a good fucking person. And the thing that really breaks me on Trump is apparently the New York Times has audio of an executive board meeting that Trump was a part of. And it's a off-the-record interview, but for some reason they recorded it, and they have this audio, but they can't release it without Trump's permission. And they said that it contains shit that could be detrimental to Trump's campaign. And they say that he said things in this, and it would, if it's true, it would hurt Trump. But if it's not true, why wouldn't Trump just say, okay, release the fucking audio? What do I care? You know, he says, I could shoot a man on Fifth Avenue and you guys would still vote for me. So, if you could shoot a guy on Fifth Avenue, what the fuck are you scared of an audio file from the New York Times for? And I understand that he was being hyperbolic when he said that, but what the fuck is he scared of? Because you know when this comes down to the actual general election, the Democrats are going to fucking use that. They're going to use that as a bludgeon against him, along with a bunch of other shit. Hillary's been trying to punish Sanders. Sanders has been fighting to keep his fucking head above water. They haven't had time to look at Donald Trump and start attempting to discredit him yet. But once they do, you can bet they're going to dredge all of this shit back up. There's also the David Duke thing, and anyone who buys the whole my earpiece was malfunctioning thing is just completely mentally deficient. Like, it's obvious that he heard what was being said to him. It's not all that hard to figure out, guys. So, the Democrat Party, the candidates that are up there now that aren't Cruz, need to just put their fucking ego aside and stop and put their support behind Ted Cruz. And, I mean, maybe he'll make one of them VP or something like that. But, they need to just get behind Cruz and let Cruz beat Trump before the primary is over. Well before the fucking primary is over. Because, frankly, the circus that's been going on is ridiculous. It needs to end. I'm just kind of sick of watching it at this point. Trump needs to go. And Cruz is the only one who could possibly do it, but only if he has more support from the Republicans. And he's not going to get that as long as these other guys are still in the race. And it doesn't matter that Rubio has no fucking chance of winning. He's still going to continue on blazing his trail thinking that he has a fucking chance. And nobody cares about Mitt Romney. Romney can go fuck himself. Like Ben Shapiro said, it was all substance, but it was delivered very badly. And, like, nobody cares what Mitt fucking Romney has to say. That's not really... And he didn't even endorse anybody. So for all we know, Mitt Romney's going to come out of right field and declare his candidacy for president halfway into the fucking thing and fracture the Republicans even more. And then Trump's definitely going to win if that happens. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. From having starting to actively follow this for about 2 or 3 weeks now. It just really fucking bothers me that the Republicans are letting ego get in the way. Especially when Trump is so not a Republican. He's said plenty of times like that he has very anti-Republican stances on issues. You know, he's for government funding of Planned Parenthood. You know, he's for partial birth abortions. Everybody who has has 2 fucking brain cells to rub together knows that Trump is not a Republican. He is using the Republican Party to try to become president so then he can do whatever he wants. He's a flip-flopper. He tells people what they want to hear. He is using people, and he's just a wretched, horrible human being who also has stubby little cocktail wiener fingers. And it needs to fucking stop. People need to get fucking serious about this. Like, yeah, it was fun watching Dr. Ambien and, you know, Rubio and Trump on stage going at each other's fucking throats and all of that shit, but the fun is over, guys. It's time to get fucking serious. Like, this is the primaries now. They're picking the candidate for the general election every time a state goes to vote. And the Republican Party needs to make sure that it's not fucking Trump. They need to have someone who can beat Trump, and more importantly, who can beat Hillary and Bernie. Because it looks like it's going to be Hillary. Sorry, Democrats, it looks like your great white hope is going to lose to the grand cult of the vagina. Sorry. God, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to get fired up about this shit. I've just been listening to these guys a lot, and from all of the facts that I've seen, because I have gone and done some reading up on this shit. I'm not just, like, taking Mark Levin or Glenn Beck at their word. From all of the facts that I've seen, that's what needs to happen. Because if Bernie or Hillary or Trump get in, they are going to destroy the Constitution. That's what's going to happen. And the Constitution is the most important part of our government. And I am all for preserving that. And Cruz is the only one who I know will do it. Or will try to do it, at least. He at least pretends to care. And he pretends to care consistently. Which, it's better than nothing. It's better than Trump. It's better than Sanders or Hillary. You know, it's a damn sight better than Rubio. I don't know. That whole shit just bothers me. Let's talk about something fun for this last... How long are we in here? Oh shit, we're at an hour. Well, I have not been messaged yet. Like I say, I gotta check Skype periodically here. Because we're doing a recording tonight for Laughably Dapper, which we're going to start uploading that shit soon. I really got to work on the editing for those, because I'm the quote-unquote audio engineer. Which is a fucking joke. Why they put me in charge of that shit, I will never know. But I'll take what I can get. You know, any exposure is good exposure, and I don't mind having my name attached to it. I'm actually damn proud to be a part of that, and I think you guys will like it a lot. So, I started listening to this band called Carnifex, and they're pretty kick-ass. Like, usually I'm not into the Cookie Monster vocals, that whole kind of music, you know what I mean? But these guys kind of alternate between the really deep growls and, really high register, like, death metal shrieks. And that's not easy to do. That's like King Diamond level shit. Like, I haven't heard music like this since King Diamond, pretty much. This is King Diamond with a harder edge and a lot more hip-hop influence, oddly enough. Like, you wouldn't expect to hear that out of a metal band. Especially, I think they're called deathcore. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of hip-hop in the way that they structure their beats, in the way that they structure their time changes and things like that. It's a very, very interesting band. I got done listening to, what were the two fucking albums that were, that I sat here and listened to. Hang on, I'm gonna get my, my Wikipedia up, and we're gonna look this up. Carnifex band, here we go. Discography. There we go. I listened to, Dead in My Arms, and Until I Feel Nothing. And I know those sound like really emo album titles. They also have others like The Diseased and the Poisoned, Hell Chose Me, and Die Without Hope. Really good shit. Like, shockingly. I just started listening to Hell Chose Me today, and it's good shit. I really like that album art. It's got this, like, zombie priest with these big claws on this plane of fire with a eclipse in the back and, like, decapitated lamb heads in barbed wire in kind of a garland with, like, some flowers and a bell on it. Really, really kick-ass album art. Really good shit. And the zombie priest guy kind of looks like Bub from, oh, fuck, what was it? Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead. I want to say, was it Day of the Dead? Was it Day of the Dead? I gotta, fuck. The amount of shit that I have to look up. Bub the Zombie. Let's see. Day of the Dead. Yeah, it was Day of the Dead from, 85. That was actually, Romero's. But, a really good movie. I recommend that one. Well, pretty much any George Romero zombie film is good. I mean, if you could just forget that this is, like, a metaphor and just watch it as a straight-up horror movie, George Romero's stuff is good. It's amazingly good. But, yeah. It kind of looks like Bub from the 85 Day of the Dead. Because there's a remake of Day of the Dead with Nick Cannon. He plays the black guy. But no, they had the best. It was the best fucking thing in that version of the movie. That version of the movie is really good too. I really enjoyed that one. But my favorite thing about it, and spoilers, spoiler alert, so skip ahead. But my favorite thing about this movie was they had an alternate ending. Which, the regular ending, and I mean, this really isn't much of a spoiler. You could kind of see this coming if you actually watched the movie. But Nick Cannon sacrifices himself in a tide of zombies. Like, they break open this door, and he, dives into the crowd of zombies and starts fighting them off. And he tells the white blonde girl to run. And she's like, no, don't worry about me, run! And he, distracts them with his body, and they start eating on him and everything like that. And he's just like, God, no, why? But Nick Cannon is actually a shockingly good actor. I didn't expect his acting to be that good, but he was pretty excellent in this movie. But the way the movie originally ends is they get out of the bunker that they find themselves into. And I think she's the only survivor, I think. It's been 5 or 8 years since I've seen this movie. But I remember this vividly. And she just hops in her Jeep and drives off, and that's the end of the movie. But in the alternate ending, and I don't understand why they didn't go with this for the real ending, it would have been so much better. But the alternate ending, she gets into the car and she starts to drive off, and then one of the doors busts open, and Nick Cannon falls out, and he gets up, and he's like, hey, get your ass back here, I'm still alive. And she, the car screeches to a halt, and she backs up. She's like, y'all thought the black man wasn't gonna make it through this movie, would you? And I was like, why wasn't that the fucking ending? Why wasn't that the real ending of this movie? It would have been so much better. Oh, God, it's a really good movie. I think Ving Rhames is in that one, too. I don't remember who the main character is. Maybe they got it in, sequel and remakes. Here we go. They did to Contagion, a loose remake, it was straight to DVD? Yeah, Ving Rhames was in that movie, that was it. Hang on, I can probably find out the chick, because she was good in that movie too. Pretty much everybody they got for this movie was really, really good cast. Here we go. Mina Suvari was the main character, and yeah, her acting, like I said, pretty much everybody in this movie was fucking great. Y'all should definitely go watch Day of the Dead, the original and the remake. It's not really, it's a loose remake, so it's not the entire original plot or anything like that, but it's still a good movie. It's a really good movie. You guys should go check it out. Highly, highly fucking recommend it. Also recommend that you guys check out Carnifex. Their albums are up on YouTube. If you're into that, I think it's called deathcore, but it just sounds like death metal to me. If you're into death metal, Carnifex is some really good shit. Surprisingly soothing. I don't know what it is, but like the older that I get, I listen to Slayer and stuff like Carnifex, and I kind of just zone out and just chill, man. You know what I mean? Just kind of sit there, and it's like a symphony. You know, when Beethoven or Mozart really get going and the music really gets heavy and they're laying down some serious shit, and you can just sit there and just close your eyes and just let the music wash over you and just kind of trip out in your head for a minute. That's kind of what this stuff is like for me. Like the death metal, it's like modern day symphonies and stuff. I don't know. I'm probably not making any sense, but that's kind of how I view it. So yeah, you guys should go and check that out if you're into the whole death metal thing. It's a lot of fun. Shit, was there anything else I wanted to talk about here? I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, seeing as how we're like almost an hour and 10 minutes into this, it'll probably be less time for you guys since I'm gonna cut a bunch of the stops and ums and ahs and shit out. But yeah. Thank you guys very much for listening. If you guys want more, you can check out the podcast. It'll be, it's under the playlist on my channel, the JimFear Podcast. We only got like 4 or 5 episodes up so far, but one will be coming every single Saturday, whether I like it or not. You can check out my my playlist, Telling Tales Out of School, which has all of my narrations up, many of which you can get on Bandcamp, and you can even find narrations on Bandcamp now that aren't on the YouTube channel. So there's exclusive Bandcamp narrations now that are with the Holder series. And that's probably what I'm going to do, honestly, because I really like the Holder series. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to record 10 or 15 Holder stories and put some music to them. You know, probably some Muji or some Kevin MacLeod. And upload those to Bandcamp and then hold them on my hard drive for whenever I'm sick or I'm on vacation and I can't upload anything, I can't record anything new. I'll just upload one of those on YouTube so that I'll make sure that I have something to upload every single fucking Wednesday. But there'll probably be another album of Holder stories coming up soon. Yeah, there's the Halloween countdown on the Bandcamp page. You can follow me on Tumblr at JimFear138.tumblr.com. You can follow me on Twitter at JimFear138. The SoundCloud is linked below, although it's not really worth much right now because I have limited upload time until I can actually afford to justify the expense of getting a monthly bill from SoundCloud for $7 fucking bucks to give you guys free downloads of the podcast. I'll just try and get on iTunes. We'll see how that goes. But there's also the JimFear138.blogspot.com where I'll be putting a weekly roundup up every week. I didn't do one last week. I was really fucking hungover Sunday. That's why I was so late with the audiobook on Monday. I still got it up on Monday. Or I think it might have been really, really, really early Tuesday. But yeah, I was so fucking hungover because we did Pathfinder Saturday, and I got drunk, man. I got drunk. I must have had like half of a liter and a half of wine. So like what? 3/4 of a liter of wine. You gotta watch me do math in my head. And like 3 beers, and I was just tanked, man, just abso-fucking-lutely tanked. Because I hadn't drank in like 3 weeks. Because you're not supposed to drink when you're sick, because it fucks with your healing process. It doesn't let you heal properly, and it lowers your immune system a little bit. So I was just not drinking. I was trying to eat healthy. And then Saturday, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I've put this off for too long. I need a fucking drink now. And I just went at it. And I played Pathfinder with the friends up at Dapper. And I just got absolutely blitzed. And then I went and watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Which, that was a lot of fun. But, oh god, I'm not even going to get into that right now. Maybe next week. I think that's it. But yeah, the blog spot will be having more stuff posted to it. I'm gonna post some scripts. I got a thing I want to do about. I got a statement that I want to make about MGTOW and hating women, which I'm seeing a lot of in the MGTOW community now, and it makes me sad. And not that whole like, man, I'm hurt. I need to get this out of my system kind of shit. Like the kind of stuff that's like, you know, I fucking hate women. Period. The end. And I've been preaching this for like 4 years now, and it's only gotten worse. It's really sad. So I would like to do what I can to kind of correct that. Because if you just let those people have their say, then they're just gonna run roughshod all over you. But yeah, other articles will be coming up on the articles. Blog posts is essentially what they is. If you follow me on Twitter and Tumblr, you will get links posted to that. I gotta be careful and actually start using my goddamn Twitter. Because if you get too many links and shit, they're starting to deactivate link accounts, stuff like that. So, yeah. But anyway, I think that's about it, guys. thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate all you guys listening. So leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to talk about something that I discussed in the podcast further, then just leave a comment down below. I will get back to you. I do answer pretty much all of my comments. If there's one comment that I didn't get to, then I apologize to that guy. But I really try to remain invested in my audience. And you guys that listen to me, I really do appreciate it. So if you leave a comment, I will do my damnedest to get back to you. If I don't, I probably got drunk and forgot. Because I'm a real responsible guy. But yeah, thank you guys very much for listening. I really do appreciate that you have taken time out of your finite life to listen to me ramble on about bullshit for an hour and 10 minutes. And yeah, I will catch you guys next week. Y'all have a great week, alright? Peace out.